Previously on Woodwalkers.
Since he missed the gauntlet, I think we're going to make him climb the 65-footer.
One time for
at least
every hour.
once.
Once every hour that we're on the pool.
Hey, Pops, you want me to ring that bell?
If you want your sticker, man, I want you to ring that bell. If you want to stick with us.
Bro, I'm not climbing that pole 4 times, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro, I'm not walking up that motherfucker 4 times.
You're gonna do this, all right? All right. You are. Now, that ain't the mate, that's you. I know you can.
I hope he was lying, because I know you're a better man than this, Chase, but he said he was going to quit if he had to do it, and I hope he doesn't.
It's Monday on SLTC's main campus. The students are out on lunch break when training supervisor Russell Cobb receives a voicemail from Chase.
I got a voicemail. This is Kenneth Leonard, and I'm just not feeling it. I'm going to withdraw. And that's what was said. I'm still hung up on his reaction about his 2 failed tests in 1 week.
Some of the younger guys that haven't ever been out from under mama's wing. They've been at home for all their life, and it seems like nowadays they don't have any oomph. They don't have any fight.
Okay, do you care to come by the school so we can do your paperwork?
The staff encouraged Chase to come in and fill out some final paperwork.
Hi, Daddy. All right. Do you have the tools and everything with me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and have a seat. I'm gonna let Curtis know that you're here. Okay. Well, he's here and I have his paperwork ready for you.
Chase will have to turn in his keys and his tools. But first, Supervisor Curtis Stewart wants a final shot at getting Chase to stay.
You guys come see, right? Let me grab your file and I'll be ready. Kenneth or Chase, where you go by? I'm Curtis Stewart. I'm the LP training supervisor here at our main campus. And a little background on me is I'm actually a former student. I came through the program. I know what it takes to make it through and the sacrifices that these guys are going through and some of the challenges they're going to meet. Have a seat, man. Everybody that comes and sees me at this process, I kind of like to just get a feel of where they're at. So, what brings you to sitting in this chair today?
I just don't like it.
Heights or?
Yeah, the height.
Just couldn't find yourself getting over the nerves?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It was just nerve-wracking. I couldn't get comfortable.
Right.
It wasn't to the top. It's just getting to that 65-footer. I don't really like that height.
Okay.
Too far up.
I got you. Lineman is a breed. It's a certain type of individual that has a little bit of craziness and want to, and you kind of really got to love this to do it. It really falls on the individual. Henry Ford had a great quote of, if you think you can or if you think you can't, you're right. So, if they have that desire to do this and they will themselves to do it, they can do it and be great at it. But if that doubt ever creeps in, if that self-talk ever gets negative, then those are the students will lose. All right, well, sounds like you're pretty confident in your decision. So let me ask you this, what's plan B? Where do you go now?
I have a job at the port in Brunswick, Georgia.
Okay. Obviously, I'm very appreciative you giving us a shot, coming down and trying it out. I mean, we told y'all day one, some's gonna make it, some's not. Don't hold your head low. Head up, try something new, wasn't for you. I mean, it's no different than anything else that you do and realize this ain't my path. Now I gotta back up, go back to this Y in the road and figure out which path I gotta take. So, I just wish you the best of luck in what you do, man. All right? So we got some paperwork we're gonna put out. There's 3 types of individuals that come to this school. One are gonna be naturals. Never done this in their life, but they come in and just fall naturally into it. They're gonna be a naturally talented climber and worker. And we're gonna tweak that and make them great. And then, you're gonna have your key role players. Those are the guys that come in not knowing anything and don't take off running with it right away, but they're very teachable. They're 100% coachable. They'll end up being a great talent, a great climber, great work hand. They can be taught how to do the business. And then you're gonna have, your bench warmers or kids that get cut from the team. So those are gonna be the guys that just get by or can't do this.
He had made mention that he was thinking about leaving because he didn't want to climb the Punisher. And, I'm sorry that he left, but he made his choice.
Pole Circle 11 will climb on, but with one fewer man. The long days of training on SLTC's main campus go on. And while they still have a lot to learn, the students are digging deep and working hard.
I think you're just down too low, Andrew. Hold on.
Michael has continued to impress both his instructors and his family.
I met Michael in 2011 going down the interstate, and I yelled at him.
Had my arm out of my truck going around the Tennessee River, and I hear a voice say, "Hey," and I looked over and it's her in the back seat of an SUV with her other girlfriends.
We were probably about 3 miles from the exit when I first saw him, and I just thought he was cute. I didn't say anything or wave at him, but then he conveniently got off the same exit as me, so I had to say something, and he was like so shy he wouldn't look at me.
I just said, "Hey, just give me your phone number and we'll talk, because I'm an awful driver and this isn't working out."
And I just thought, like, what's the worst thing that could happen? We'll talk and let go out a couple times and that'll be that. But that's not how it happened. It ended in a child and marriage.
Children and a family, it's everything. So I owe it all to them. Even my dad, he duked it out during my years of growing up and was always there for me.
I did some overseas tours in Korea, and while in Korea, I met Michael's mother, and then when we moved back to the States, she got restless, moved away, pretty much without a trace. We haven't heard from her. So I've been a single parent to Michael. Raising Michael was quite an adventure. He was very energetic, but sometimes you would have to almost coerce him to stay focused. But if you could, he could really accomplish a lot. I taught him about conservation, fishing, hunting, camping, and he just grabbed hold of that and just took off with it. He became an avid deer hunter, just loved to spend time outdoors when he wasn't at school. I also share a deep value of raising children to become Christians, read their Bible, pray, all those basic things that seem to have been lost in the last couple of generations.
And that's what changed Michael. Like, before Michael came to Christ, he was completely different.
I was a literal just disaster. And I still have moments of failure now, but God's really changed me from the inside out. I'm actually dedicated to my family now, and I can start something and finish it, so it's really a driving force as well, having God incorporated into my life.
God has not let Michael down, like, through his drug abuse and all of his craziness. Like, God has stayed by Michael. And he was smoking and he was drinking and not responsible whatsoever. And then after I found out I was pregnant with Micah, it was like a wake-up call, and he got serious.
Michael looked at that and he said, "There's something missing here. I can't accept this as my life. I've got something else, and God has something for me to do bigger than this." That's when he looked hard at what he needed to do with his life. So this wonderful opportunity came for him to attend lineman school.
Like, it was like he literally came home one day and he said, "I'm gonna go to lineman school."
This was a big change to decide, 26, 27 years old, to go back to school, but it's really important that I further my education, that we can provide the absolute best for our children, and that's really what's driving me to go through all of this, that I'm going to be able to provide the quality of life that I expect them to have. So I know that the opportunity's there if I apply myself, that I can absolutely give them everything that my heart desires for them. We know God's got big things in store. This is all part of His plan, and that we're going to put in our effort 100%, and that light at the end of the tunnel will get there. So
I think it's helped Michael a lot to have people at home pulling for him when he does go out and try to make something out of himself. But I think Michael has found what he wants to pursue, and I'm just really proud of him.
Kylie doesn't like the dark, so I'll make sure to keep the light on for you.
Linemen have to be ready to work in any condition. Rain does not stop training at SLTC. In fact, bad weather makes for good training. But it's not doing any good for Fabian's arms.
Well, one day when we were climbing, I was starting to have a little sharp pain in my elbows.
Good God. Pull it to him! Now let him have it. Guys, right. Don't let him pull the arm up. That's why you have the handle on to pull it up for him.
It was kind of like a burning sensation, and like it was painful, and I didn't really think it was going to be that it would affect me that much, but man, it really did. And then when we were doing the cross arms, you know, just pulling it up and then putting it on there and then having to hammer it in, like I just had like a burning sensation in my arm the whole time, and both my arms actually the whole time.
I can do better, man. Huh?
It's like a pulse right now.
Pulling in. You're using your arms too much. Which one's hurting? Both? You're gonna have to better get some ibuprofen or something.
I just never had that type of pain before. I don't understand how I got it either, but I guess I was just not using good technique, and I don't know, I'm just gonna try to push through and see how I do. As long as I got my arms and as long as I can still go up and down, I'll be all right.
The cold rain is not doing any good for Robert's self-speed in the exercises either. Instructor Josh Hansard has noticed.
Come on! All right, now you need a tight clove head. On the clove head! Clove head! Clove head! Listen! Right now you got one speed, and that's sloughing. Slow. You look like a slougher. Again, your technique's good, but I want you to get that another gear. That's why I'm pushing you. It ain't because of Tim, but I want to see some drive up. You ain't been pushed your whole life, bro. Huh? Well, it don't show it. I don't. It don't show it at all here. I'm wanting you to pick it up. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing bad. I just want you to grab that other gear. Fight a little bit. Get out of that shell that you're in. Pick it up. All right?
He chose my instructor. Part of the reason because his office window looks exactly at my pole circle. He can literally just sit back in his chair and look, and we're straight lined up to each other.
I watch them get on him and I let them do what they need to do. I don't want to get in between that. So most of the areas I've been coaching him on has been growing up man stuff. You know, like put a little spark into it, you know, see a little snap and pop. Make sure you look at somebody and answer them when they ask you a question. Don't shrug your shoulders and look away like a little guy. Act like a grown man.
All right, now don't screw this one up.
And it's this way for a lot of the young men that we're getting here. They were probably mama raised or with sisters, and there wasn't a decent dad in the picture. So they're getting an overdose of testosterone in the manly way.
Self, rotate under the arm. Come on, go, push it, damn it. Put some ass behind it.
So they've got manly stuff having to grow up that way. in a hurry, at the same time trying to learn a craft and a skill and technical knowledge. But it's good. It's great for him.
Safety supervisor Tim Self and his father team up to motivate Robert in finding his higher gear.
You're kind of like a one-speed dude. You need to find 2 more gears. So when he hollers, you know, everybody over here, I don't even want to see in the second half. I want to see in the first half of guys getting to him.
And be bold. Remember, you're just one of a couple of hundred, and every one of them are equal when it gets on the pole. See, nobody's any more brave than you or any more frightened than you. So just be bold. Say, I'm here to prove I can do this as good as anybody else. And what you're going through in this school experience, in a sense, is a rite of passage from a young 18-year-old boy into when you leave here in 15, 16 weeks and you graduate, there's going to be an element of maturity there. The question is, when does a man become a man? You see, a man doesn't become a man until he is responsible and accountable and in charge of making sure things are done. And in a sense, that's that rite of passage. That's what you're going to obtain.
Anybody can go out there and, you know, say, I'm a man, I get to make decisions. Being the man isn't making decisions, it's living with the consequences of your decisions responsibly.
Student Frank Diaz is also feeling the pressure to get the fundamentals down.
If today was the day, you'd be going around too. It's just constantly studying. If it's crane class, digger derrick, you know, trying to know your knots, and there's just so much. I'm a big gamer. I love playing my video games, but I don't even feel like playing because I want to make sure I know what I got to have on lock, so that way I can go forward in this.
On top of his studies, Frank is missing the love and support of his wife.
Looking at her on Skype is one thing, you know, but not being able to hug her, that's tough. Since I left on January 2nd, so that was the last time I saw her, 8 o'clock in the morning. We met 22 years ago. It's funny, I was working at a computer company, and there was a friend of ours went into the ladies' room. So I told my buddy, I said, hey, let's scare Vanessa when she comes out. Door pops open, and I'm like, hey! And there's this 5'10" blonde, which wasn't my friend. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, you know. She laughed and said, no problem. The rest of the day, I thought for sure I was getting canned. Because, you know, dudes standing outside the ladies' room, jumping at women. We bet on her age. We went to go find out who she was. I ended up losing the bet because I thought she was younger than she was. And so I paid up the 10 bucks, but she felt bad, so she made me homemade chocolate chip cookies the next day. And so we were friends for a year, and then we dated for 5 years, and then we've been married 16 years.
Valentine's Day is just a few short weeks away, and Frank is already out for the perfect gift.
Yeah, I think I'll take that one. Already. I think she'll like that. She's coming down to visit me, and for Valentine's Day, so. Well, that'll be nice.
At the core of every hero is a desire to help, a drive to change things for the better. Some jobs are easily associated with being a hero. Linemen, for example, chase the storm, pushing themselves to the limit just to keep our lights on. But there are a lot of ways to be a hero. Chase is finding his way. St. Mary's, Georgia, a few months later.
It wasn't really for me. I just started missing home, and then my old lady came to see me, so I think that did it too. I work for Our Daily Bread. It's a summer meals program. It's a nonprofit business. We give out lunches to kids that are not fortunate enough to have lunch every day, and I drive to Brunswick every day and drop them off to different sites. You don't fail until you give up. Personally, and nobody can't really make you give up. Nobody told me to stop going to school. I chose that on my own because I felt like, me personally, it wasn't for me. Everything is worth trying. It's all about taking chances in life. step out on faith, really. I mean, if I decide to ever go back, then I would, but right now, it's probably wouldn't be the best thing for me. I tried it. At the same time, I tried it. It's only special type of men could do, you feel me? Man, I just wasn't a special man that could do that.
Back on SLTC's campus, things are about to change dramatically for student Ivan Pantoja.
Definitely surprised. Hear a phone call, 2 weeks into school. The day was going excellent, and taking some notes and whatnot, and class was just about to end, and we were gonna go out to climb. Curtis walks in and pulls a couple guys out. I was one of them. I was like, man, what's going on here, Just kind of waiting down here in the, the offices, and just kind of waiting to get called into his office, just to hear whatever happened. I mean, I didn't know anybody here. I was a new kid, I was like, maybe it's, something financial or something. Eventually, I got in his, his office and slid some papers over to me, and I didn't even know how to take it. Like, I couldn't believe it was happening, I was just like, wow. I just kind of put my head down, and I had like no words to say. There's nothing.
Okay. Good luck. Look forward to seeing you again, sir. Thank you.